Hey guys, today what I want to walk you through is how to set your lights for Shabbos. This includes setting your lights for timers and dimmers in order to be able to keep your house ready for Shabbos and have the proper lights on or the proper lights off depending on what you're looking to do. Before I walk through how to set this up using some of the latest technologies, I want to just give you a little bit of a reason why you'd want to use this. Obviously, the most obvious reason people have is the ability to save money. But the truth is a lot of other reasons why you would want to set this up beyond just saving money. It's true having your lights go on and off at different times of the day can save money, but there are some other reasons as well. Number one, it's also easy to use. Unlike the old days, you have to walk around your house and set timers and those manual clocks people used to use. You can do this from the comfort of your phone, so it's really easy to use this. You don't have to worry about all that manual work. The other thing is the ability to dim lights. Some of these smart lights have the ability to dim on smart switches. They have the ability to dim your lights, which makes it really nice, especially for late at night. If you don't want your house to be really completely lit up, you can have dimmers in them. And then finally, just sort of practically the ability to set a schedule, right? You don't necessarily want your lights on all the time, even if electricity was free, nothing to do with money. Just practically, you may want certain lights on or off depending on the time of day. Just as an example, maybe you want your bedroom lights to be on when you're getting dressed in the morning, but then you want those same lights to be off at night when you go to sleep. There are those Shabbos lamps that work really nicely, but those are really good for reading. They don't really light up a full room. It's a little bit of a different use case for those. So I want to walk you through how I personally have my house lights set up for Shabbos and give you an example of how you can do that for yourself as well. The product that I use is something called the Lutron Casetta Switch. Here is the product on Amazon.com. There are a few different options you can buy. The one that's Amazon choice is the switch itself, the remote that goes with it, as well as a wall plate for $60. I will say that if you are going to buy this, you should buy the kit first. And if you scroll down, you'll see here there's a kit with 2 switches, 2 remotes, and the hub. The hub is what actually allows you to connect to the switches. The way it works is you connect this little hub to your Wi-Fi, and then that is what connects to all the different switches. So you do need this hub, and that kit is $169. After that, though, then you would buy the individual lights. Depending on what you want to do or what your current switches look like, you can just buy these switches that don't have a wall plate. These just would pop into whatever light switches you have now. If you don't have lights and you don't have wall plates, or you have a different type of light, like a skinnier light that may not fit, then you want to buy this wall plate version here. The remote is nice for 2 reasons. One is if you want to leave it on a coffee table or something, you can control your lights there. The other reason is if you have a light switch, let's say you have a long hallway with two different switches that control the hall lights, you can mount one switch hardwired into the wall, and then you would mount the remote in place of the second switch. You wouldn't get 2 hardwired switch. That maybe sound a little bit complicated. I would ideally recommend speaking with your electrician or calling the company directly, Lutron, and they'll walk you through how to install these switches. It really isn't complicated, and certainly any electrician who's at all experienced will know how to properly install these. And then that may not necessarily cost, you can discuss whether it's for the job or have them pay per switch. I've seen some electricians charge about $50 per switch, which may sound high. If you think about the whole project, though, it may cost just a couple $100 depending on how many switches you're doing. I personally had an electrician do some of them for me, but then I called Lutron and they walked me through how to do it myself, and I was able to install the switches myself after that. So these are the switches I recommend. Once again, these are called Lutron Casetta. The hub and kit cost $160 for 2 switches, 2 remotes, and the hub. And then each individual switch costs about $60 or so. I'll just add finally that there is one switch that doesn't have a dimmer in it. I use this for my outdoor lights that are not dimmable. So not every light is capable of being dimmed. I found that the outdoor lights, if I had a dimmable switch, and I tried dimming it, it would end up just flashing the lights. It caused an issue there. So I just got the non-dimmable ones for my outdoor lights and the dimmable switches for my indoor lights. So now I'll walk you through what this app looks like and how to set your lights for Shabbos. So here is my phone. You see a bunch of apps. This is the Lutron app in the bottom middle row. If I open the app, you're going to see that it connects to the system. This is what's connecting to that hub. And then you see three different sections, devices, scenes, and schedules. Above that, you will notice that I have two lights on. I have my basement lights on and my front porch lights on. And if I scroll down through this list, you'll see all my lights as well as the remotes, which I have mounted in place of other switches throughout the house. I can just quickly click on basement, and I can then turn it off, turn it on, or I can set the level of dimness. Let's say I wanted to turn it off. Now you see I only have one light on at this point. To add a device, it's really simple. There's instructions with each light switch. You will just hold the off button for a few seconds. It detects you have a new light. You give it a name, and you're done. It's really easy and simple. It works really nicely. Next to devices, you do have your scenes. I only have a few here that I set up for practical use. A nighttime mode, all lights off, all lights on, away, and arriving home. These are not based on a schedule. These I actually have to click manually if I want these switches, these scenes to be enabled. And what this means is that if I want it's nighttime, I can click the nighttime button, and that will do whatever I set it to do. In this case, we'll open it up, and you can see what I have it doing. I gave it an icon of a moon for nighttime, and what this does is it turns off all my lights, with the exception of the front porch, which it sets to 20%. I like to leave that on throughout the night in case someone comes or looks like someone's home, and the house shouldn't be completely dark. Going back here, my all lights on mode, this will turn on all the lights throughout the house, and the opposite in all lights off turns off all the lights. So I can quickly just do that by clicking the button. If I click all lights on, I'll go back to my devices. Now you see I have 9 switches that are on. Of course, my house has more than 9 switches, but not everyone is a smart switch. I only put these switches where I needed it to be the most. So that's scenes. Next thing is schedules, and this is where the Shabbos mode comes into play. What I would recommend is thinking about what your Shabbos looks like, if you're going to be home, away, are you home Friday night, you home Shabbos day, and creating different schedules depending on what your day looks like. I would recommend for sure, just as I scroll through my list here, you see I have a bunch of different schedules set up. Most of these, though, are faded out. You'll notice a slight color difference between the last one, where it says sunset front porch, where it's a little darker. The other ones above it are all grayed out, because those are not active. What ends up happening is as I need them, I just turn them on and off, so I don't need to recreate the schedules. I did it one time when I first set this up. I sat down and thought about it for a little while. I created these schedules, and then I just turn them on and off when I need, with some minor adjustments as needed. I would recommend first starting with Friday night, whether you have company or just your immediate family, and what lights do you want on when Shabbos starts. So here I'll click this Friday night just us mode, and what I have here, let me go back actually for a second. You'll notice this happens 20 minutes before sunset. Now I can have this go on 15 minutes, 25 minutes, all these preset options. I guess it'd be nice maybe to do 18 minutes before sunset, but I do 20 minutes before sunset on, you notice it says Friday. Right now it's not enabled. If I were to enable it, let's say for this coming Shabbos, so it'll be enabled forever until I turn it off. Last week I was, I guess, away, so I disabled it 20 minutes before Shabbos, before sunset, meaning basically when candle lighting starts. The following is going to happen. What's going to happen in this example is that certain lights go off and certain lights go on, and certain ones remain untouched. For the most part, the basement goes off. Then I have my main level, the family room, the porch, the kitchen ceiling, all these lights go on. My living room goes to 50%. You can get creative with whatever you need. This is what happens when Shabbos starts. I'll go ahead and save this by clicking the check in the top right corner. But then you're going to want Friday night before you go to sleep. So I have this one called Friday Night After Hours, which happens, really I have it set for Saturday because it's 1:30 in the morning. I have this very late in case it's company, but I could change this. Let's say I want it to happen at 11 o'clock on Friday night. You just change the time, and instead of Saturday, just choose Friday. And what this is going to do is that Friday night, before we go to sleep, I'll have this set to turn off certain lights. So now you see that all the lights are going to go off, with the exception of the front porch, which I have set in this case to 15%. And I also left my kitchen island lights on to 5% in case someone wakes up in the middle of the night and wants to go to the kitchen. There'll be some light on there as well. So that takes care of Friday night. But now Shabbos morning you need a mode as well. So I have another mode for Shabbos morning. I'll turn that on, and I have this set for 8 a.m. on Saturday morning that certain lights go on. The basement goes on, the kids can play downstairs. You have a family room, the front porch goes off because I don't need the outside lights to be on during the day. My kitchen ceiling goes on, the mudroom outside light goes off. So you just need to think about what lights you would need first thing on Shabbos morning. And then I have a Shabbos afternoon mode. We'll enable this one. This happens 2 hours before sunset, meaning it's not yet dark, but it's starting to get a little bit dark. I have some more lights go on. I don't need the dining room lights to be on at that point any longer. We're not going to be eating there. The family room, the front porch goes on, kitchen island, kitchen ceiling, living room, etc. The outdoor mudroom lights go on. So this is what happens 2 hours before sunset on Shabbos. After that, I don't have a mode that turns those lights off because when Shabbos is over, I can do it manually myself. So I would recommend usually at least 4 modes for Shabbos. You have a schedule for Shabbos when Friday night when Shabbos starts, another one for Friday evening before you go to bed, another one for Shabbos morning when you wake up, and then one for Shabbos afternoon when it starts to get dark. This is an example of how you can set your lights for Shabbos using the Lutron Casetta Smart Switches. For more information, visit smarthouse.guru and you can schedule a free consultation. I will also post some links in the description of this video so you can check out more about these products. I hope this was helpful. For any information, email smarthouseguru@gmail.com.